Right now, let's go to Ruben in Connecticut. Ruben, thanks for holding. You're the best. Welcome.
Hey, thank you, Alex. This long-time listener, first-time caller, okay? I was wondering if you guys have heard of aerogel or solid smoke, which will be a perfect solution for the oil spill over there in the Gulf of Mexico. If you go to YouTube and type aerogel solution to Gulf oil slick, they have a video there of a guy showing how aerogel sucks up all the oil, leaving the water intact. It's an expensive solution, but it's something.
Well, the other big thing is if you have 50, 60 million gallons or more pouring in, what factory can make or deliver 60 million gallons of the aerogel? I am familiar with a lot of the different solutions they have. I'm glad Kevin Costner Systems, these centrifuges just got bought. The bigger issue is within a year, almost all of that oil is going to biodegrade. I mean, I can't tell you how many tar balls I've seen on the Texas coast with just all sorts of life living on it. The bacteria eat it. Now, it's terrible when it comes into your estuaries and kills your fisheries. They should have blocked those up day one, but the feds wouldn't let the states do it. Why were the feds doing that? Why do the feds want to exacerbate the crisis, Ruben? What do you think's going on?
Well, I think, like you mentioned before, they're going to take advantage of any crisis that happens, any catastrophe. They're going to take advantage of it, and it's a sad thing. It's a sad thing, Alex, and I'm just hoping for the best. You know, I just threw out my 2 cents there. You know, people can check it out. You know, it's a guy on YouTube that, you know, they manufacture all the aerogel, and it shows a good video, and I think, you know, if people get the word out, maybe.
I hear you, Ruben, and I appreciate your call. And I think the oil spill's serious, but overall, it's a distraction. It's a distraction. It's something that happens every day. It's a soap opera. Oh, why won't Obama fix it? Don't worry, he's got a tax on you that'll fix it. But Lieberman says it's only $1 a day. Per family, just $1 more. And, of course, it's a lot more than that. The power to tax is the power to destroy. Let's talk to Mike in Ohio. Mike, you're on the air.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. The reason for my call today is I heard on YouTube before the interview before Lindsey Williams did with George Norrie last week. He did an interview, and he gave some key information. I've got high-level sources that told me the same thing as what he was about to give up. He said, George, your listeners would be amazed on who controls the military, and about gave it up. I want to tell out to everybody in the listening audience that the Federal Reserve has taken full control of our military and our foreign policy. It's already done. Obama has no say in it. Lindsey, if you get Lindsey on again, please get him to answer that question. He will verify what I say.
You know, that's a good idea. Let's get an update from Lindsey tomorrow or Friday. Let's set him up in the third or fourth hour again so people can call in and ask him questions. We'll get him on. We'll ask him that question. But I've seen the head of the War College, the Naval War College, admit the Pentagon works for offshore banks. And they teach the brass that. They teach them it's a corporate government. They're corporate officers. America's bad. America doesn't exist. But we've got to tell the general troops that it's still for America. We've got to still wrap that in the flag. But once the troops have served us, they're the number one enemy. They're the trash. The trash has got to be taken out and thrown in the dump. The websites are Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. I'm going to finish up with Steve, David, and Kevin. In fact, I see you just gave me a fresh list here. Who's first in this list, John? Okay, well, then I may not be able to take all those calls because I am really behind schedule here and need to finish up with the most important news of the day. But I'm going to give each caller 1 minute. Mark in Texas, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Great day to y'all. Boy, this is something I've hearing you say something each time that I think is very important, and I've really been trying to do it myself, and that is not get distracted from all the craziness that these people do. I'm starting to just learn as I read the Bible through that Hebrews 9 and other things, that these people are just crazy, and I'm learning what can I do and just stay focused on that, and I'm wondering what other people may be getting out of, getting response out of, just staying focused on, like that fellow there. He was great. Boy, that guy Alex, man, he really, just like you, you know what I mean? That was amazing stuff. I'm kind of stuttering a little bit.
No, Mark, God bless you. It's good to hear from you. We've got to stay focused, but we've got to decide what are the most important issues then. And I'm sorry, it's not the oil spill. Yes, it's destroying some of the shrimpers' lives. Yes, it's hurting the Gulf Coast. But compared to trillions a month being stolen by offshore banks that are destroying our Bill of Rights and Constitution, liberty is the engine of our freedom. We'll bounce back from this oil spill if the government lets us bounce back, if they hold BP accountable. But I'm here to tell you, BP has bought and paid for Obama. It's one of his chief contributors. And when he says he's going to make them pay, you watch, they're going to end up paying a paltry sum, and they're going to make a lot more money on the carbon tax that they are progenitors of. They are the main kingpins, along with Ken Lay's company, Enron, that cooked this up in the 80s and 90s. And their carbon tax situation that they've invested tens of billions of pushing in was in deep trouble, and now this comes along, and Obama's trying to ram it through using the crisis. And you've got BP and Goldman Sachs and the BP executive dumping their stock in the week before the spill, and then Obama not letting people clean it up. It is very suspicious. Let's talk to George in Connecticut. George, you're on the air.
Hi, Alex. I'm glad to talk to the Truth Network instead of the liars of this world. I wanted to make a quick suggestion since we're in another shock doctrine. Why don't we get Naomi Klein on so she can evaluate how this might fit into the categories. Plus, all the liberals out there that don't want to believe this stuff, they can basically hear it from the horse's mouth. And also Gore Vidal, because he gets on this stuff a lot, so that the liberals can no longer say, "Oh, well, this is a right-wing conspiracy nonsense." And one last thing I wanted to say is John Lear. I came across a online thing that was under John Lear tells all about tells all part 12, which he explains who exactly created the AIDS virus, which is a Dr. Donner for I guess a division of the Navy, S4, and he explains how it can be cured through some sort of Chinese. Virus, not virus, but something on a plant that can be used to kill the virus. So he had the documents in hand. So here we have things to show they're trying to kill us and kill certain segments of society. I'll leave the rest to you.
All right, I appreciate the call. Let's talk to Stephen in Florida. You're on the air.
Yeah, hey, Alex. Two quick things on the Gulf and Chris Matthews. First of all, as far as I'm concerned, the Gulf situation, and you've pointed this out, it's got inside job written all over it. The fact that the feds won't allow the states to do what they want to do, these companies that have the microbes to eat the oil and the other ones with the skimming technology, now they have troops working with BP. The whole thing, it's about the carbon tax. That's absolutely certain. So that's my take on that.
Well, we knew it was coming. I mean, what does a carbon tax and taxes on oil and gasoline, how does taxing something get us off our dependence, or not letting us drill in the U.S. get us off our dependence, or not letting us have the safe overland pipelines from Alaska, which has more oil than Saudi Arabia? This is a monopoly. They won't let us have our oil. And so they're saying, you want something to be done about the oil spill? We'll just give you a carbon tax paid to BP. How's that sound to you? I mean, BP owns large portions of the Chicago Carbon Exchange, the Gore and Blood Carbon Exchange with Al Gore, Blood and Gore, no pun intended. Mr. Blood is the partner. I mean, they stand to gain from this. We've got to kill this carbon tax.
And so it's about rewarding the criminal cartel that Alex was just talking about. That's what the whole thing, making us their slaves. The other thing is, you mentioned earlier with this hit piece by Matthews that's airing tonight, and then he says, Alex Jones thinks that. And, of course, his implication is you don't know what you're talking about. But if you think about it, Alex, that's doublespeak, because actually that's what it is. Alex Jones thinks. He thinks critically based on the factual information and makes his conclusions based on, and they don't want you and the rest of us to think. They want us to all be the dumbed-down sheeple and just go blindly along and not think. So, yes, you do think. He's right about that.
God bless you, Steve. I appreciate your call. I'll get to David, Kevin, Kirk, and others towards the end of the hour if we have time. But I've got to get to this news now. It's coming to a crescendo. We've had the Southern Poverty Law Center within hours of Richard Poplawski in Pennsylvania killing 3 cops, saying that basically I told him to do it and that he was my fan. We went and searched his name and found out he was attacking me. He hated me because I don't get into racial issues and because I didn't hate Jews on major Nazi websites. And then other newspapers picked it up, and I did force a retraction with threats of lawsuits in 5 newspapers. But since then, a year and a half ago, hundreds of news articles, there were 3 or 4 today I saw, say that I'm calling for violence.